This conference will now be recorded.
We will begin shortly. In 2 minutes, Dr. Zafer.
Let's see. Oh, now he's going.
And how was the coaching program from Palestine? Let's say,
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We're here to present to you our guest speaker. In fact, he is not just a guest speaker, but the Vice President of Distance Education at iGlobal University. If you have questions about distance education, we have Dr. Zafer to explain to you everything. Probably you can jot down questions after explaining everything. Okay, Dr. Zafer, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruby. Hello, everyone. I'm going to say now good afternoon. It's not after 12. Hope you're all doing good. You are in good health, safe, and not infected by that pandemic. And I believe we made such a presentation about maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, and I will receive several feedback from our students. So they asked whether we can repeat the same topic webinar, because distance education is modality in distance education, online education. It keeps evolving, it keeps developing, and every day you may have been left behind if you don't keep up with the development, with the features, with the new technologies. So distance education is a great opportunity. It is a way, an alternative way to traditional education, as you know, traditional in-person education. And we did not move, I think we're just gonna move. We did not move to distance education just because we wanted, just because we evolved, honestly, because we had to move all course modality to this distance education because of the pandemic. Pandemic is bad, literally, but it, as Dr. Sun states several times, the president of iGlobal University, we have to find a way to turn the crisis into opportunity. So this is the time when we turn such a bad maybe time period into opportunity. So we evolve, not only we evolve, but we also develop, we keep developing. Distance education is not a static structure, it's a dynamic structure. And we keep receiving feedback from you, from our faculty members, from staff members, from students in particular. And distance education, as I told you, maybe it's kind of a new age, the name of the new age. I'm sometimes making joke with my friends that this new age is gonna be a Corona age, as Corona had us make a lot of changes in our lives, in our social lives, in our friendship, our family relationship, and everything changed because of the Corona, because of the pandemic. So that education modality, the educational environment. So one of the key maybe development, the key evolution I've seen as we move forward, as we move towards distance education, we keep witnessing new development that makes distance education a lot easier. So it is a student-friendly environment now. It is user-friendly environment. And as you know, we have a training session, a mandatory training session for all our students. So every single student at Global University, they have to go through that training session. We call it online learning assessment. That helps a lot. It is extremely simple. Several times I email our new students, our current students, and all students actually receive that email that it is extremely simple. You just, what you need, and so our IT department also gets involved, what you need is just your username, your passwords, you log in Canvas, you open the course shell. The title of the course is OLA, O-L-A, Online Learning Assessment. It is extremely simple. It shows how you can engage with your course activities, how you can communicate with your course activities. We have our valuable, some of our faculty members here too, Dr. Dina, Professor Sprague, Dr. Kendrick, she taught at our Global in the previous quarters, and hopefully she's gonna be with us as we move back to our traditional modality too. And they all they get the feedback from the students, but that course shell is designed to help our students how to engage, how to communicate. And we keep talking to our faculty members too that we want them to use the learning management system, the student information system, both actually, not only Canvas, but also Populi, to communicate with our students so we can document, we can keep kind of storing, we keep saving the communication means that we already conducted. Sometimes emails, they may not stay there, you may remove, you may delete your email, but Populi and Canvas communication makes the communication forever. So you have it whenever you need it. So the reason why I emphasize this, communication is the key to move forward in distance education. Communication is a #1 essential item in distance education. Once you are able to communicate with your faculty, once you are able to communicate with your academic advisors, I can consider halfway gone. Maybe our professor can confirm or can correct me if I'm wrong. Once you communicate, halfway you are gone. I can guarantee you, at least you can get 50% of it. I don't mean literally you're going to get 50%, but communication is the key that opens all the gates for you in distance education. Once you successfully, we have Professor Dr. Ashiro here. Thank you, Dr. Ashiro, for coming attending. Once you successfully communicate with your professors, then comes the success, then comes the course engagement. The course engagement is totally depending on your communication. We have several students reported that they got sick, they got some financial issues, they got some other issues, some personal issues, so they were not able to engage the course activities, the weekly course activities. So as they communicate with us, as they let us know, as they notified us, because we are human beings, we are limited to some restrictions. We can't know what you are going through if you don't let us know. We can't know. There is no way. I mean, we don't have such an ability unless you let us know. And not only we expect you to call us, we try our best. Our academic team, our faculty members, they email you, they send you text messages, they call you. So we try to create a learning environment in which we communicate with each other efficiently, effectively, so we can move forward, so we can make progress. As I said again, communication is the key, is the essential key that opens all gates in distance education. Once you communicate, then you move forward. And I statistically studied last quarter, the quarter before last quarter, those who communicated with his or her faculty, those who communicate with us, even sometime maybe when in the middle of the quarter, as long as they started a communication, I see they make progress. I see they pass. I see they move forward. So again, please communicate. Distance education is totally depending on communication via email, via Populi, via Canvas, doesn't matter as long as you communicate. But we recommend our faculty to communicate with you via the platform that we have your information, Populi, Canvas, and of course IG email. We also recommend you to communicate with us via your IG email address, not with your personal. With your personal and my email address, fine. Sometimes we may not recognize. I'm just going to give an example. Today, I received an email from a student of mine, and the email address was in some language I didn't know. I didn't know who that student was because he used his personal email address, which is fine, but I can't see, I can't read. It was, I believe, Korean or Japanese, but then I had to communicate with him again, and then he used his IG email address. So I was able to identify him and identify the issue, and I was able to fix the problem. Then the student left with a happy face, I imagine, because he got a good news. He didn't know his grade, but he, as I said, he tried to communicate with me his personal email address. Dr. Sun, he recommends us to reach out to you by any legitimate, by any legal ways. Of course, we try to communicate with your personal email, with your IG email, with via Populi, via Canvas. As long as we find a way we can communicate, that's fine. But we recommend you, please, to communicate with us in any distance education issues via your email, via your IG email address, or via Canvas. Canvas has that feature too. On announcement tab, on discussion boards, on email feature, you can email your professor directly. You can email us, your academic advisor, directly if you have any issue, if you have any question. Once you got your communication, you just move forward. It is extremely, I'm not exaggerating, please believe me, it is, I'm 100% positive our professors, our faculty who are attending, they're gonna confirm what I'm saying now. Once you communicate, I can tell you are done. Because no way you're gonna make progress. You're gonna submit your assignment because it is all based on understanding. You understand your professor understands you. You understand what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to submit, and then your professor is understanding what you submitted. And all, as I said, based on communication. Please, just take a step, just take your time, and I keep telling also my students a lot. Of course, they may have some other issues, they may have some other things to do. Some domestic students, of course, they work full-time. We have some students doing their CPT, but for CPT students in particular, I would like to remind you that you cannot use your CPT as an excuse. Please make sure you do not use your CPT as an excuse so you don't engage with your course activities. We cannot accept such an excuse because CPT has to be an integral part of your academic degree. So we cannot use, of course, it's gonna take your time, it's gonna keep you busy, but still your primary responsibility is that your assignments, particularly I'm talking about our international students who are here with their F1 visas. As I said, communication is the key, and then you start engaging with the course activities. The next major item in distance education that we call academic integrity. We have to keep our academic integrity no matter what. So the core item in academic integrity is plagiarism. You have to avoid plagiarism as best as you can. I mean as best as you can because sometimes we may get involved in unintentional plagiarism. I'm not gonna say it is fine, but it is tolerable. We can tolerate, and we can have give you a second chance, so you can revise and resubmit the assignment if it is plagiarized. But any form of plagiarism, intentional or unintentional, is not gonna be tolerated in the end. Through the process, throughout the quarter, you and your professor, you're gonna be communicating with one another, and you will be given maybe multiple chances to revise and to resubmit your assignment. That's fine. So we are not gonna deduct any points as long as you revise and resubmit your assignment before the due date. And again, as I said, as we are going through this pandemic, our global university is not only academically but also financially and from all aspects, we are trying to be as flexible as we can, as best as we can. And we understand some students, we know they got some problems, some health issues, some students, they have some financial issues. And financial, of course, academic department is not in charge of but we are also here to help you. At least we can recommend you, we can direct you to the right people. So if you have a problem, I'm talking about the distance education, there are some non-distance education issues can stop you from engaging with the course activities. One of them would be financial issue, which has nothing to do with distance education directly, but indirectly it has a lot to do, because if you can't go through your financial issues, then you'll be in auditor status, and that means you won't be able to engage, you won't be able to log in your course shells. Please, even if you have financially, I don't mean we are gonna be helping you to resolve it, but at least we know the right people. We know the right people, so we can direct you to the right people, so you can communicate and resolve your issues. And again, I'm gonna come back to plagiarism. Please, it is, as I presented that in the new student orientation meeting, it's not a rocket science. Plagiarism, you can avoid plagiarism as long as you commit, as long as you take your time. And this is one of the maybe most significant core issues in distance education. Anyone, any regulatory agency, any policy, internal policy, external policy, governmental, non-governmental, if they audit a college, a university, number one item they would like to see if there is an academic integrity at that college, which can be granted by keeping a plagiarism-free school environment, learning environment. So we are here, all your academic advisors, your professors, the faculty members. We are here to help you. We are here to assist you if you have any issues, which is okay. I mean, you may not know. We are not making any writing style mandatory, but we recommend any writing style you can use, MLA, APA, that doesn't matter. As long as you cite the source properly, then we accept it. Your professors, we are not a research university. We are not going to be as strict as they are, because research university, they are literal research university. They emphasize and they prioritize writing style a lot. But we are a career university. But that doesn't mean we are gonna we are gonna tolerate plagiarism, because you have to cite the source. It is extremely simple. In distance education, one of the maybe core items to make progress, to move forward, is that your attempt, your commitment for a plagiarism-free learning environment from your end. We are going to do our best from our end to create a plagiarism-free learning environment as best as we can, but it's also your end. We are depending on your end too. So you have to make your best. You have to do your best not to plagiarize. And the way how you avoid you plagiarize, as I said, we are here. This is a whole big issue, a whole big topic. We can talk about it in detail in the future, but feel free. I believe You have our contact information, you have your professors' contact information, you have Dr. Ruby's, everyone is everyone at Global University. We are at your service. Just let us know. We can direct you, we can give you the instructions, we can help you step by step how to avoid plagiarism. And the first one was communication. The second one was plagiarism, avoiding plagiarism. And the third one is engagement. Engagement. Actually, they're all relevant to each other. They're all entertaining one another. So you can't consider communication without engagement. You cannot see plagiarism without communication. They are all relevant. They are all related to each other. So engagement, we also want you to get engaged with your course activities. Everything is, as I said, distance education, the language, the wording in the literature, it may look a little bit scary, but it is, as I said, as we had to move forward to distance education modality because of the circumstances we are going through because of the pandemic, but we also see what kind of features, what kind of opportunities there are that we can embrace, we can benefit from. So one of them, as I said, and this quarter in fall 2020, we made it mandatory that every single faculty is going to conduct a live session for our students. So it is not going to be I know some students, they have some concerns because you're not, you're assuming that you're not going to see your professors face to face. You're not going to be able to answer or ask the questions or answer the questions asked by professors. But now, this quarter, we made it mandatory every week. You will be able to see your professor face to face. It doesn't mean it's going to in person, but it's almost in person. So it doesn't matter 30 minutes, 40, 50, depending on the nature of the class, nature of the course delivered. You'll be able to see your professor. You'll be able to raise. I know some students are attending from the overseas, some students from Kazakhstan. I know one student from Turkey, another one from India. That's understandable because of the time zone difference. You may not be able to attend, but still we have a chance that we are recording the sessions, or your professors are recording the sessions. And we have our IT department here. And I told you that last time when we met, me and I believe Kazi and everyone at our global university, because we are a global university and we have students from all over the country, all over the world. And as we get involved in distance education now, we have students from all over the world, and we are at your service. I can't maybe tell you on my behalf, I'm at your service 24/7, and I have seen several text messages in the night, over the weekend, Sunday, Saturday, doesn't matter. We are here at your service, and I've seen several faculty members, almost 90% of faculty members, they're responding very quickly. Maybe the minute they receive your messages, they try their best to respond to your emails. So we are here at your service. And as I said in the very beginning, communication is the key, academic integrity is the major step, and engagement is the final, maybe the core item in distance education. So we have simple, but that simple assignments, simple requirements, but they still require commitment. You have to take steps. You have to log in. I see some students, I can see how many minutes, how many hours every single student got engaged on Canvas. The people tab on Canvas shows the total time spent, the total time spent by you on Canvas. So I can see some students, I know some students last week, even it was the second week of the quarter, she spent literally 60 hours on Canvas. That's a great commitment. I'm not asking you to spend whole your week or weekend on Canvas, but at least some acceptable level of commitment, at least 3 or 4 hours. At least we want, because imagine, assume we are delivering all courses in distance education, then you were supposed to come attend a class in person that was taking at least 4 hours a week for each class. If you are taking 2 classes, that means you have to commit you have to spend at least 8 hours. So we can see, we can detect, we can monitor the total time spent by you. Please make sure you engage. Each time you engage, it's gonna show on your people tab that how many minutes you spend on Canvas. And make sure, I know some students, they turn it off, they get out of the system, and they maybe study off online, not when their system is open. So, but that's not gonna be counting towards your total time you spend on Canvas. Please make sure, even though you do some research on some other libraries, some digital libraries, then make sure you turn your system on so that the system is going to count the total time you spend on Canvas. And another engagement, I know because we are not offering you classes in person, but one of the key item in the whole distance education is the library resources. As you know, the learning resources system at IGU is, I believe, more than enough to serve our students academically. We have hundreds of thousands of resources, articles, journal articles, ebooks available on the library. So the librarian, we have a librarian who has his master's degree in library studies. He is committed to communicate with our students, and I have had him, based on Dr. San's direction, communicate with our students every week, 20, 30 students a week. So please respond to his email, and please submit your questions if you have any issues with the library, if you have any access issues. They're all available on our website, but also John Walls, our librarian, is there to help you, and he's also communicating with you. So communication, academic integrity, and engagement for academic excellence. These three pillars are going to help us and you, so we move forward, we have an academic excellence in the end. If you have any questions, please feel free. I'm here again to answer your questions. I have seen several students. I believe I see a few students attending from overseas. Please feel free to ask your questions. Dr. Rade, you can contribute if you want. Professor Sprague, I see you there. Dr. Kendrick, Dr. Ashir, Dr. Afalabi, Professor Morshali, Dr. Ruby, please feel free if you have any questions. Dr. Abate.
Sorry, Dr. Pirim, were you asking me a question?
If you have any question or if you want to make any suggestion, recommendations.
I'm always, I just want to take the chance to tell all the students, if any of them is in my class, I'm totally available 24/7. If you want anything, you can email me, contact me on my phone. I have my phone number on the syllabus and on the Canvas. I'm always available for you anytime. And I will gladly be happy if anyone will ask me any question. I would be really appreciative.
Thank you, Dr. Rade. I know you're making yourself available 24/7. Professor Sprague, please.
Yeah, very similarly, I try to be available to all my students 24/7. I don't care. I do tell them if it's something urgent to text me on my phone number that's on the syllabus. And that's very effective when something's really, really bad for a student. They tell me immediately and I can quickly go take care of it. And I do try my darndest to use Canvas and others to make sure that we document it, because I know the school gets audited on that. So I've been trying really hard to use that more. And Doctor, I just want to say your talk about communication at the very beginning was super important. If we communicate better, then we have less emails flying around. We have less phone calls coming in. And then that's your staff and the school staff. It's less work for them if we can communicate better. So I've been using announcements and other tools as much as I can using the collaboration tools that the school offers to talk to the students too. Those have all worked pretty good for me so far, and I'm just going to commend you on that. That's a really important thing. Communication is usually the root of almost all failures in a lot of different areas, not just education.
Exactly. Communication is, I believe it was handled in the whole world. Maybe there was not going to be any war. Because communication is helping us better understand each other. And the better we understand each other, the less maybe conflict is going to be. Thank you, Professor Sprague. And I believe I see we have several other professors. If they would like to make any contribution or any comment, feel free. Dr. Abad is here, Mr. Vadim, our DSO, Mr. Mamoon, Qazi. And as I said, I see that faculty members, I can see the time they are responding. I have seen several faculty members responding 3 a.m. in the morning, like 11 p.m. In the late evening, 7 a.m. early in the morning. I have seen some faculty texting us 6 a.m. in the morning because there is a kind of emergency or urgent help needed because of the student. And as you know, one of our great motto at iGlobal University, students come first. That's the reason we are making ourselves available 24/7, literally. One of our compliance director told me this is a big claim. Can we prove if in case we are audited? I told him, Mr. Mamoon, I told him yes, because we have emails that are the evidence. We have phone calls, we have text messages, we have announcements made on our learning management system, our student information system, that we can document that we see we are available 24/7. I believe, Dr. Ruby, if you have any questions you receive from students, please, but I see no texts or questions posted yet.
Okay.
The stage is yours, Dr. Ruby.
Okay. I just like to give the gist of your report. Distance learning is a new normal in academia. Factors to consider to become successful are number 1, communication, discipline, self-motivation, and engagement. Actively take part in your online activities to move forward. If you have issues, you can openly send a message to Dr. Zafer and to your instructors to resolve the problem. Lastly, the IGU family is here to assist you. So I hope everything is clear to all students. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you again at my next event. If you have more questions, the table is open to question Dr. Zafer.
Yes, I would like to add one more thing. When I first came to IG, one of the items I was so surprised that Dr. San asked us to share our personal cell phone. I mean, of course, if we are okay, of course. Then I found that that makes our students feel they're home. They're one of our family members. And I'm gonna announce that again here. In my signature, when I send you an email, all our students, the phone number that you see is my cell phone number. So you can reach me through your regular phone or maybe via WhatsApp, whichever is suitable for you. And as I said, we are here to help you 24/7. And again, communication, a plagiarism-free environment, and engagement. 3 major, and of course, motivation, discipline, they're all related to each other. Thank you again. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.